Right, hello everyone. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you to everyone for the amazing, kind comments that I've been receiving about my kind of fitness and health journey. It's been really, really positive and encouraging. I didn't put the post up just to have everybody message saying, "Oh, well done, haven't you done amazing?" Obviously, I'm very proud of what I've done, but the reason why I posted was because when I started out, I felt like it was a massive task to undertake, and I thought it was impossible. And it was actually through watching a friend go through a very successful kind of fitness journey that it inspired me, and I realized it was possible for me, and it's possible for anyone. And so I wanted to share my story so that it would hopefully motivate and encourage others, which it seems to be doing, which is good. I've had loads of response of people asking for tips and tricks. So what I'm going to do in this vlog is to share my experience. I want to tell you what I did, what worked for me, and how that's looked. But what I would say is that everybody's health and fitness is different, and what people are aiming for is different. There's no perfect body, there's no way to look, there's no set weight that is perfect for everyone. It's about yourself being happy and being healthy and being the fitness level you want to be. I want nobody to feel any kind of pressure or shame about the way they look, because everyone's beautiful and everyone is unique and everyone's body is different. And for me, and I'll talk more about this later on, for me, the journey was never about that. It was about something different. So I'll talk about that in a little bit later on. It's also important for me to say here, I'm not a professional. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not a gym instructor. I'm none of those things. I'm just a guy who wanted to get healthy and made some changes to make that possible. I want to talk a little bit about my approach. I want to talk a little bit about how I approach things. So I'm a little bit of a researcher. I'm a little bit of someone who, when I get into something and I make a priority of something, I read up about it. I do lots of research about like really in-depth stuff, more than I really need to know, just so that I can make sure my approach is sound and I'm happy with it. I'm a little bit scientific about it like that. So I would encourage you to hear what I've got to say. That's probably useful, but also do some of your own research. And ultimately, everybody's experience is going to be totally different. I'm just showing what worked for me, and I want you guys to think about maybe doing your own research as well on top of this, to help you get where you want to be. So my approach from the start to lose weight was to try and lose weight sustainably. And what I mean by that is it's very, very easy to lose weight very quickly. My total process has taken me 2 years, and I could have lost as much weight in probably a year or less if my goal had purely been to lose weight as fast as possible. But what I wanted to do the whole way through was to make sure that I didn't just pile the weight back on when I stopped being as strict with my diet or whatever it is. And so I've taken an approach that means that the weight goes off and stays off. And I think that's really important. I found that really important as well for being healthy. And the other key thing to my approach was to try and embrace my body's natural tendencies, to try and retrain my body to act differently, kind of reset my biology a little bit. And what I mean by that is that as humans, we are designed to be active. We are designed to be eating a certain amount and doing a certain amount. And when we exist, as I did, overweight and unfit for a prolonged period of time, it sort of resets your body's baseline. And I wanted to basically retrain my body and retrain my baseline. And so if the goal is to lose weight as fast as possible, probably go somewhere else. I would suggest that's not a good approach anyway, but that's not what I'm about. That's not what I found useful for me. So I've split my approach down into 3 main sections. My first section is the mind. My second section is exercise. And my third section is diet. All 3 of these things are really, really important to get them right in order to have a sustainable and worthwhile weight loss. So I'll start quickly with the mind, and I'll try and keep this as short as possible. I started off with some quotes that really helped me. They formed the foundation of how I wanted to approach it. So the first one was, in life, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. And it was this basic understanding that that you can do anything you want, but you have to compromise. You can't have everything, so you need to make some sacrifices in order to get the things you really want. And that involves each of you will have to make a decision about how intense you want to go and all that kind of stuff. Another really important quote was that one that says, the best way to accomplish our goals is not through sheer willpower or grit, but through creating small habits and circumstances that make the goals inevitable. And I cannot stress how important that was for me. If I was just relying on my own willpower and grit, that would get me quite a way. I'm quite driven and I'm quite stubborn, but ultimately I probably would fail. And it was actually about setting habits and ways of life and creating a new lifestyle. If you're looking for a get fit quick scheme where you're going to diet for a few months, lose a bit of weight, and then just go back to normal, then again, this probably isn't for you. This is about a lifestyle change. Some things you might let go of forever, some things you'll massively reduce, and some things you'll bring in that you'll have to do, forever. And that was something I wanted to do. And the final thing, which I'll come back to later on, is the understanding that action comes before motivation, not the other way around. If you're waiting to get motivated to start your fitness journey, you'll be waiting forever. You just need to start. Just start doing anything, because honestly, as soon as you start, the motivation comes. So that was how I started it. What I did at the beginning was I had a real look at myself, and the thing that really gave me the breakthrough to persevere was a decision really about what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. I'm a climber and a mountaineer, and that's a big part of my identity. It's a big part of who I am. And I realized that I was not in any kind of fit state to achieve the goals or to be who I felt like I was inside. So what my weight loss journey really is an outward working of who I am inside. And I would say I feel more myself now than I've ever felt before in my life. And I think that can't be overstated. I think that's really important. So I would suggest thinking about why. Spend a lot of time thinking about why do you want to lose weight? Is it for you? Is it for your kids? Is it because of how you want to look? Is it because of what you want to be able to do? For me, my short-term goal was I wanted to go to the Alps and I wanted to climb some big mountains in the Alps. And I couldn't do that with the fitness level that I was at. So I used that as my goal. And it's really useful to have a goal that's meaningful and that lasts, because what you can do is you can use that as motivation when you're struggling. And I'll give you a very quick example. When I was training, initially I was going to go at Mont Blanc, which didn't happen in the end for various reasons, but I was training for Mont Blanc and that was my goal. And I remember once I was having a really hard session in the gym and I was on the treadmill, which was one of my least favorite activities anyway. And I remember struggling and just thinking, you can just stop, you can just quit, that's fine. And I asked myself the question, do I want to stop more than I want to reach the top of Mont Blanc? No, I don't. I want to reach the top of Mont Blanc more than I wanted to stop and rest. And that enabled me to carry on. So I think if you have a really solid goal that's really meaningful, you can talk yourself into doing more. And I think that's really important. So do spend time thinking about the why. The next thing I want to talk about is mental health. And I will just touch off this because it's a whole can of worms. But I genuinely believe that most people on the planet can improve and enhance their mental health through good diet and exercise. I genuinely believe that that's a massive part, has a massive part to play in the whole journey. And so if you're feeling boxed in and caged in by the state of the world, get it. And that's why the whole action before motivation thing comes in. Because actually when you start doing, I noticed a big significant improvement in my mental health. One other thing that was really important for me was I treated myself. I bought myself nice kit to work out in. I bought myself nice trail running shoes, bought myself some nice leggings, I bought myself some nice clothes to wear. And that was really important for me because when it's really hard to work out, which is often very hard to work out, I love to put my kit on. I love putting my running gear on, and I love wearing it because it's nice kit that I've treated myself to. And for me, that was really important. And it may sound completely silly, but it was really, really important. And I still love putting my running shoes on and going for a run at the trails because they're nice, because I treated myself. It's the same. I was really bad at writing, and I have to write a lot for work. And it wasn't until I started buying myself nice pens that I found myself writing enough. And it's actually, if you enjoy doing the thing, then actually it becomes a lot easier. So I think that's important. And I think that goes in with everything, is to try and do exercise that you enjoy. Try and make it easy to want to go, set yourself up to win. And that's pretty much what I've got to say on the mind for now. With regards to exercise, quite simply, I have taken a mixed approach. So for me, like I said earlier, it was really important to understand my body's metabolism, to understand a little bit of my circadian cycles, and to talk about sleep, which I'll talk about all of those things in just a minute. But for me, it was about, how do I get my body to do the hard work for me? So I started off by thinking about metabolism, and I did a bit of research into that, and I always had quite a low metabolism at the start of this. And so I looked into foods and exercises that would increase my metabolic rate. And so you get the benefit of your workout, not just while you're working out. So metabolic exercises and stuff will get your metabolism working for up to like 24 hours afterwards. The other thing that's crucial in that is to not just do cardio, to build muscle alongside cardio. So probably for most of the 2 years, my workouts have been 50-50 split between muscle building and cardio. And what that means is, as my muscle mass increases, what happens with your body is, when your muscle mass increases, your metabolism speeds up. So that's really, really good for helping to digest food, and so that you don't store as much stuff as fat. And that's really key. And also there's a little bit, and I don't know if there's any science behind this, but there's a little bit of, once my body gets used to turning stuff into muscle instead of fat, it learns how to do that. It learns that that's the normal thing, and it learns to kind of expect to do that rather than to store fat. Definitely do cardio. It sucks. Often it sucks. I've actually learned to love it now, and actually that's a good message, is that the more you do it, the fitter you get, the more enjoyable it becomes. So it's the first 6 months particularly, they're hard. They're really hard, and I've said before, I put in another post, like, I'm not really a runner at all, but suddenly I've found this love of running, and it's just because I can do it now. I'm actually fit enough to enjoy it. So it does get easier, it does get better, but try and mix like 50-50 cardio with muscle building or strengthening exercises. Another good tip, just be generally active. I know that sounds really kind of wrung out and a bit naff, but I have generally just quite an active lifestyle. I mean, it's more and more active now the fitter I am, but I have a dog. So every day the dog needs, I take him for at least one walk or two, depending on what Lizzie's doing. So I have that every day, between 40 minutes and an hour a day, just walking the dog. That means that even when I'm not working out, like, my exercise isn't limited just to my workouts. It's cutting the grass. I've been doing DIY projects at home. It's just walking up the stairs instead of getting the lift. It's, walking to the shop instead of getting the car. It's cycling down to work instead of driving to work. It's these small changes that aren't a workout. They're just small changes that mean that you are generally active. And I think that massively helps, that actually your workouts are good, but they're not, they can't be everything that you're doing in order to get fit. You need to make some lifestyle changes and make some decisions. And the other thing was to do exercise that you want to be doing. Choose exercises that kind of reflect what you want to be doing afterwards. So I want to be able to climb really hard. So I'm trying to do like pull-ups and stuff, because that's going to really help with my climbing specifically. And I go trail running because it's going to make it easier when I'm walking up and down big mountains, because I'm fitter and my feet are a bit more like sure of what I'm doing, and I'm a bit more balanced and all that kind of stuff. So try and match your exercise to what you want to do. And then I want to talk about diet. So I want to talk about a bit about calorie deficit, a little bit about caloric cycling. I want to talk about sleep. I'll talk about sleep now so I don't forget to do it. A really key thing that I found quite early on was that sorting your sleep cycle out is so important to losing weight. So most of the time when we actually shift weight and when we kind of burn off and get rid of fat is while we sleep. And we need good quality 8 hours a night sleep, and that sounds that sounds crazy. And my mates always take the mick at me because I'm always away to bed early, and I have like a real schedule and stuff like that. But I get 8 hours sleep a night at the moment, at least. Sometimes it's a little bit over, sometimes it's a little bit under, but it's normally around about 8 hours of quality sleep. So I went and bought a really good mattress. And a nice pillow, and just made bed a good place to be, where I was able to get high quality sleep. And I think sorting out your sleep is going to be massive for kind of retraining your body how to deal with stuff. So let's talk a little bit about calorie deficit and cycling. So I have a smartwatch, massively useful. I would highly recommend it if it's a Fitbit or whatever to track exercise and calories. And then I use MyFitnessPal, the app, to track my food. And I enter my exercise into there as well. And that tells me my overall calories for the day. So counting calories, I found it really useful. What I will say is, don't let it rule your life. These things are not massively, but these things are inaccurate. They're not perfect. So don't get obsessive about it. I've been obsessive about it, and it's really not that healthy. Just kind of try, and you'll find success eventually. But obviously, the old rule of losing weight is if you burn off more calories than you eat, you're going to lose weight. Guess what? Nobody is shocked by that. And this is, I guess, what I say. There's no real secret to it. In that is the secret, is that burn more than you eat. But that said, you cannot outtrain a bad diet. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. In terms of calorie deficit, then. I have a cycle of calorie deficit, which is 7 days. So of 7 days, I will aim to have probably 2 or 3 days where I'm under my calorie intake by about 1,000 calories. So like 1,000 calorie deficit on like 2 or 3 days. And then on 2 or 3 days, I'll be about probably 600 calories under. And then on a couple of days, I'll be like 200 calories under. And then on one day a week, I aim to go over my calories, and that day is the most important day of all of them. Some people call it cheat day. I call it cheat day, but you shouldn't call it cheat day. It's not a cheat day, it's a high calorie day. And what it is it's a day where you're aiming to get your calories over. And what that means is that as you lose weight, your body is used to, it doesn't get used to always being under, so that when you start eating again more stuff, it doesn't pile on the pounds. So that day over is really, really important. Then what I would say is the quality of your food is really important. So on that cheat day, it's important not to just go and like stuff your face full of like McDonald's or stuff, which has got really what I would call cheap calories, like really awful processed food. But actually, it's about trying to still having high quality food, but eating more of it. Now, it doesn't mean to say there's nothing like I still eat McDonald's, like I do all that stuff. It's not to say you can't ever do that again. Like, of course you can, but it's about, instead of having McDonald's, I don't know, like twice a week or something, you have it like once a month. It's just like changes like that. It's like there's nothing really that's off limits, but it's just about understanding what you can eat regularly and what you can't. So I might knock up like a little example of what I eat in a week and what I exercise in a week. But an example of like a high calorie day for me would be like I'd have probably bacon and eggs in the morning, or like bacon, scrambled eggs, like asparagus or something, or avocado or something on toast. I'll probably have like a toastie at lunchtime. I have toasties a lot. And then like we have a really good takeaway near us that does like really high quality food. So it's still high quality calories, but they just prepare it for you, and that's kind of good. So like a burger or a steak or something. But trying to snack on things like nuts and fruit and dried fruit instead of eating like chocolate and crisps and stuff. Although those things are okay, obviously in moderation, like everything's okay a bit. So that's really important. Another thing is that I try and keep the quality of my food high, the quality of my ingredients high, and to cut processes out of our food. So I for most of our cooking, we cook everything from ingredients, and we just do it ourselves from scratch. And it sounds like a lot of effort before you do it. Once you get into the habit of it, you can do meal prepping and all that kind of crazy stuff. Like there's hundreds of videos out there for that. But eating high quality food makes a massive difference. Like we make our own nut and protein bars now as well, and you know exactly what's in it and exactly what the calories are, and it's fine. Something else to address is drinking. I like a drink. Everybody, I imagine, well, not everybody, but a lot of people like to have a drink, have a few beers with mates. One thing I changed was getting out of like habitual drinking. So just like it would be like on a Friday night after work, I come home and I'd have like, a few beers in the evening or whatever, or a glass of wine or a bottle of wine with Lizzie or whatever, which was just extra calories that I didn't need. And it was that thing of going like, oh, okay, here's a beer. That's going to be like, I don't know, 200 calories. So in order to burn 200 calories, I have to spend an extra 15 minutes on the treadmill. So do I want to spend the extra 15 minutes on the treadmill or do I want to just not have the beer? So it was quite easy then to rationalize out, oh, okay, I'll just not have the beer. I don't really need it. It's fine. And then you just suddenly realize that you're getting rid of all these extras. Equally, if you want to have the beer, but then do the extra 15 minutes on the treadmill. So it's just about, you make your decisions, but I'd encourage you to understand that there are consequences to all of your decisions. And I think the final thing was that overall with diet, it's not about what you can and can't eat. It's more about eating the things you should be eating. So try and worry less about not eating bad stuff and worry more about eating good stuff. I found that was a massive shift for me, and it made a massive difference, and suddenly it became really easy to just eat really good stuff and not eat bad stuff. And like I say, this isn't me saying like, look at how amazing I am and look at all this like amazing food I eat, whatever. I still eat McDonald's when I have a little treat out to Inverness or something like that. And you can do that, but it's just about, on the whole, it's about what you do in the 90% or the 80% of your life is like really disciplined and really good. And actually, the food that we eat is actually probably much nicer than a lot of the pre-prepared stuff. But like in the 80%, 90% of your life, like have the discipline, do the hard work, and then you can have the 10%. You can have that little reward, or you can have that little thing here and there. So that's really, really important. I guess that's really it for now. I mean, I could do a whole series of these, and maybe I will. It'd be interesting to hear how this goes down with you guys, what you guys think about it. And so let me know in the comments if you want to know more about anything, or if you're interested in anything I've said, then just let me know. If you'd be interested in seeing a couple of weeks of diet plan or a couple of weeks of exercise program, let me know, and I can get those knocked up into like Word documents and make them available as well. But overall, I just want to say, just get on with it. It's not too bad. It's possible for anyone in any stage of life, to become more healthy and more fit. And crucially, I want to reiterate, it's not about just losing weight. It's not about just becoming as small as possible or whatever. It's about choosing to be healthy and choosing to do the things you love to do. And I'll just come back to that point I said earlier on, is that really the key thing is to find the thing that's going to make you really motivated and is a really good reason. Like find that reason why you want to lose weight, and do it for you, not for anyone else. And maybe you do it for your family or whatever, but you have to want to do it, and nobody can make you want to do it. So that's it. This has been really awkward, but thanks for watching, and see you in a bit.